Now wear it.
Hello and welcome
Now put it
to
up your butt.
the 52nd episode of This Is Difficult Gaming Podcast. The podcast. Put the Tanuki thing back on. There we go. The show where we talk about video games and other things, but mostly just video games.
Distract.
I'm Paul. I'm one of your hosts. I'm here with
I'm
Josh and
Josh.
Colin.
I'm one of your hosts. We don't talk over each other ever.
That's what we should rename this podcast.
That's true.
Talking over each other.
Yeah. We all literally just did it.
Oh, Jesus.
None of us really care, though, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talk
Hi,
about
guys.
video games on this show, and it's fun. We have fun. We're fun. We're friends, and we have
Friends.
fun with friends.
And the fourth F. Wait, third F?
Fucking.
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Oh, God damn it.
Okay.
Fantasy fucking. Okay.
Damn. All right. Yeah. So let's talk
Fire
about some
trucks.
video games. Did you guys play any games this week?
Nope.
No. Colin, we never
Vicariously.
seen.
Vicariously through me, though.
Damn it.
How many games did you play?
I played two. I played Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword.
Nice.
Vicariously through me. So
Yes.
I actually played Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword this week.
I haven't played any games this year at all. I haven't done any. I've been so
This
fucking busy.
year. Wow, you can actually say that.
You
That's
look like
crazy.
Darth Colin.
Yeah, you kind of look. Who's your master?
Mhm.
No one. I'm my own master boy.
That's good.
Master boy? He's master boy ting.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. I played our game of the week, which was Bastion, and I had such a freaking fun time playing it.
I thought about it.
Mhm.
I have played that game, so
Yeah.
it's really amazing. As someone who's played it the most fresh. Oh, well, we're not talking about it yet, I guess, but super awesome game if you guys don't know what it is.
Yeah, we
Bastion.
can get to it.
We'll get to it. Don't worry.
We got some cool stuff to talk about. A little bit of news. We've got a cool topic that's kind of, I think it's interesting. We could probably talk a lot
You're
about
welcome.
it. That we're going to talk about later on, and we'll talk about that game.
Yes, yes.
You guys want to hop into news?
Let's do
Yes.
Let's get that out of the way.
This just
Oh,
in.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. We should do like a thing with,
A
know,
thing with like a, I don't know.
like a little ticker.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be way
what
too much work, though.
It sounds
So
like
I
you would do all of it.
immediately regret suggesting that. So,
It's all you.
yeah.
I do the least work on this show.
Hey, what's
Me
up,
too.
Zach? We got Zach in the chat.
Nice, what's up, Zach?
What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about we set some kind of incentive, and if
Pay us now.
if that incentive gets accomplished, we turn on the talk or the text to talk for an entire episode
Wait, what for
the
chatters?
podcast.
For people in the chat?
Is it
Yeah,
not on?
They could say like horrible things and it gets picked up and then we have to delete the whole video.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
the only thing.
it's crazy. I
Uh,
do it every day when I stream.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that makes me
I do.
scared.
It's terrifying. It's fun.
It's fun. I mean, I'm down with whatever.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
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 Sounds
yeah.
fun,
So,
Well,
anyhow,
anything to interact. What do you guys think? Any way you guys want to get more involved chat wise? No one's in the chat to answer this question.
that's what I
so
want.
fine,
Like, that's
ask.
something that I've been thinking about for a while, is how we could get people more involved. Because, like, one of the things that I would like is to just have like random questions.
Mm.
Like not even necessarily video game related. Just a way we can interact with.
What's your favorite snake?
Yeah, what's your favorite snake, guys?
Well,
seriously,
okay, so
here's the
that comes from
Discord
a Destiny podcast that I watch.
I know.
Like anytime they have a new guest on, they ask them the question, "What's your favorite drink and snake?" It was originally supposed to be drink and snack, but the person mistyped it when they asked the question. So,
That's funny.
what's your favorite drink and snake? And so
I don't know. What is
I
my
just gave
favorite
that as an
snake?
example.
What is your favorite snake?
What's
Probably
my
a cobra or an anaconda.
Yeah, that's safe.
Actually, I really like. There's like this green one. I can't remember, like Fer-de-Lance or something, but it has like reflective.
Fleur de
diamond
Lance.
scales.
Yeah, the Fleur de Lance is
It's really
isn't I
cool,
think it's the
yeah.
most poisonous snake on the
I
planet,
think so.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
down in the
Best
Amazon,
friends.
and they will fucking kill you.
You'll die within
And
like
they're
under a minute.
beautiful. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're
What are
like
they called?
so.
What are
the
they called?
Fleur de Lance. Yeah,
Fer-de-Lance, and they like have
They're
shimmering
awesome.
diamond scales. They come in like
Lance?
different shades
Yeah.
and flavors. Just try 'em
they're
all.
really cool
Is it
looking
Asper?
snakes that will just murder you.
Yeah, Mercuon.
Bothrops. Asper?
Welcome to This Is Difficult
knows.
podcast, the podcast
I'm
where we talk
confused.
about
What's
Because
how do
this
you
is
spell that?
difficult. I
we
think
just talk about snakes.
just
How do you
put
spell
de lance. And
It's
then
a
snake.
it's a French thing, so you got to spell. It's like
I think it's this one, the Bothross Asper.
Maybe.
Let me see. Hold up.
It's spelled like F.
Fred de Lance. Some of the common names applied to the snake are velvet in Spanish, Fred de Lance, Saint Lucia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Berthrops asper is the Latin name.
Yeah, that's
highly
it.
venomous pit viper species.
Post a picture. In
It
the
is
chat.
more dangerous to
I'm on
people
my
than many other
phone.
snakes. This species is the main
Oh, yeah, let me-
snake bite incidents within its range.
I'll put it in the chat. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the most
Lord Yeshua knows a lot
leading
about
cause of
reptiles.
snake
Shucks.
bite in Mexico. The most dangerous snake in Costa Rica. 46% of all bites and 30% of all hospitalized cases. The fatality rate was 9%. Is that good
Wow.
or bad?
9% of people in the world.
It seems like a lot.
Has since declined to almost zero.
Because people are getting, smart about not.
Oh, snake
Putting snakes on their
serum,
body?
basically.
Oh, okay,
Irish
cool.
snake serum.
That's good. Thank God for snakes.
yes. Welcome back to Snakes Us.
Oh, geez, it causes necrosis.
Yeah,
All
most
snakes every day.
Yeah,
guys.
most poisonous snakes cause necrosis, and it's disgusting.
Not my
It's so
snake.
disgusting. Oh my God.
Not my
Let's talk about
president.
video games.
That got me.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
So in non-news, Sony's
Non-news.
not going to E3 this year. A
They
lot of
only got one
people.
announcement.
So they announced that they're not going to E3, which I don't really feel like is news. A lot of
Nah.
people were freaking out about it, but they did this exact same thing last year. So to me, it's not a surprise. And
No.
also, it makes way more sense for them just to do their own showcase to show off the
Yeah.
PS5.
I agree that they have such a large, basically single-minded release this year, that the PS5, obviously, that they don't really need to go along with everyone else and do like game by game. If they have their own, like you're saying, whole panel for themselves, it'll probably be just a lot more beneficial for them.
Oh, that was wrong. There we go.
But yeah, to not be represented at E3 at all sounds kind of crazy though, because there's just such huge media coverage. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm sure they'll do something for E3, right? Like Nintendo doesn't have a booth at E3 anymore, but they do directs during E3. Sony did the same kind of thing last year. They pulled out as a company, but they still had shit that they did during E3.
Yeah.
I think E3's dying though, as a convention. So
Maybe open it to the public, make it a lot more accessible to people, and then maybe it can become more like a Comic-Con thing.
yeah, I don't see the point in that at this point, especially
Not the
since we have
same, yeah.
PAX,
E3 was always my dream. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. It breaks
Yeah.
my heart. Like I actually had a
E3?
conversation with our friend Candace about
What
this.
did you just say? I'm sorry. 4Gs? Did you just say what's E3?
Who cares,
Once
it's
again.
dead.
All right, we're
It's
gonna be
dead.
a 2-man podcast.
Auditioning.
now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
What are your
Jesus.
thoughts on it, 4Gs? Do you think it's not necessary?
I
Talk.
don't think it's necessary anymore. We have YouTube,
Exactly. And that's where everyone
Okay,
goes for
that's
their
fair.
news is Twitter and YouTube for
That was a
gaming.
harsh gut shot, but it makes sense.
No, it
My
is.
heart
And
hurts.
like I had this conversation with our friend Candace, who actually used to be a games journalist,
Ooh.
right? And she's been to E3 many times. And she was basically like, hey, it's stupid and it's not like, you don't actually want to go. And I'm like, I do actually want to go though. Like the only reason I don't want E3 to go away is because I haven't gone yet, because it was a childhood dream of mine to get to go to
Same.
E3 like it always was. So
I guess it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. That sucks. That makes you a little sad. But I also understand. Yeah. YouTube punches it in the face.
yeah, it's a bummer, but yeah. So anyway, that's what we have about Sony. But another little rumor sneaked in about the PS5 is that it might be able to play PSP games.
I heard about this backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
With PSP is insane though. That sounds like an online store, right?
It's got to be. I
What are you
don't
gonna
think they're
stick
gonna
like a-
they're
no.
gonna stick a port on
That's
the thing
insane.
for your PSP, like the
Yeah.
VM or what were they called? UMDs or something? Isn't that
Something
what they
like
were
that.
called?
The Dreamcast had that though,
Yeah.
right? Literally, it's on the controller. You go into the Dreamcast.
But yeah, well, that was the
Yeah.
VMUs.
UMD says Chamali.
VMU,
yes.
yeah, UMD. That's what I said, Chamali.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
I said it at the same time as you. I didn't read it fast enough.
There we go. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Oh.
Got him. and he couldn't do anything about it because he doesn't have a microphone. So
Yeah, no proof. No proof.
But
I don't see that being-
VMUs are what plugged into the Dreamcast, and that
That's
was like
right.
the tiny little Game Boy looking guy.
Yeah. And that seemed like, in theory, cool at the time, but like obviously that system was obsolete like 2 years after its release. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to see something like that, but I can't imagine they would do anything but like online software, considering that's like what the future is.
That's I'm sure what's good. But if that's the case, that's concerning for me only because I want the system to be backwards compatible with the discs, right?
Agreed.
Not for PSP. I don't care about that really. I care about for PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1. If they're only planning on doing digital backwards compatibility, then it's not as big of a sell for me.
They need like a nuts disk drive that's like not just one disk drive, like it has to have like multiple laser trays and everything, so that no matter what size you put in, like, or what type of format you put it, that sounds insane. Honestly, like I know I'm saying it out loud, like that sounds insane. Like literally, I have like 5 disk readers in the same spool.
Yeah.
Like,
Again, most discs are the same size, right? Just like regular CD size. So I'm just saying
That's
for
fair,
like
yeah.
the main consoles, I want actual physical backwards compatibility rather than just digital. That's all I'm asking. I don't know if we'll get it. Really, no one knows at all because Sony's been really quiet about all this, so it's all rumors.
Yeah.
So whatever.
I mean, I think if someone's going to do it, it's going to be Nintendo. They're constantly remaking their games and putting them on new platforms. I can imagine them just literally releasing like, oh, here's Ocarina of Time in a Switch cartridge. Just stick it in your thing. Like, I know.
Yeah,
But
we'll
like,
see.
but I mean, PlayStation knows it's time for a turning point for them. I think like we all know that if they don't start doing something to like stand out, then they're kind of just on the same marker as Microsoft at this point.
Yeah.
They need to pull ahead, and that would be a massive thing that everyone would have to basically copy in order to stand out also. So that'd be a really cool thing to do, I think, for them.
What else do we got here, guys? Final Fantasy VII Remake is delayed until April 10th.
I am so surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, and I'm not mad either. Really,
Does anybody
like,
care? I mean, like, who's like honestly excited?
What?
there's a lot of
Honestly
people.
excited? I know, but like, why though?
All right.
Like,
Okay, sorry. Let me just.
everyone's like, this is the best one ever, and I'm
This
like,
is literally Ocarina of Time getting reformatted. If you think about it. that
oh,
way.
okay, that's what
Does
it's
that
like.
make sense? That's exact.
Yeah.
That's like the
Okay.
exact correlation.
See, I all you had to
That's all I
say.
had- that's all I had to
Yeah,
say.
I was gonna say, like, it's literally not only
Shit,
a lot of
man.
people's favorite Final
Shit,
Fantasy
man.
game, but like a lot of people's just favorite game ever made.
Yeah,
Like it's
I think it's one of the
it's-
best games ever made.
it really is
honestly.
one of the one of the biggest games ever made as far as like
Yeah.
popularity is concerned.
yeah.
Yeah, so like
It ages extremely well as far as story and replayability. As
Yeah,
well, too. Yeah.
but visually not so much. It looks like
Nope.
shit. So
It
that's
looks like shit.
it looks so bad. So that's why it's
But-
really great that it's getting this remaster.
That being said, they're changing like, oh, nice Rubik's Cube finish. Did you finish that?
Oh, I have before. I didn't just finish it, but
You just
like
finished it, guys.
I'm a Rubik's guy. I like to
I'm
I
a
like
Rubik's
to I like to.
Oh yeah, I
Rubik's.
remember you got into that.
Yeah,
Nice.
I used to
Give
be
us a
able to do it in under a minute. Right now, I probably couldn't do that, but yeah.
That's amazing. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, so they're pretty much reformatting the whole game though. It's gonna be like, instead of like you're looking at the view here, it's gonna be like in and out 3D, a huge immersive world. Even combat is a JRPG now instead of a time-based, just pure RPG. But like you said, you can do that old style too, right? Didn't you say that was a feature?
I did say that. I did say that
okay,
was.
you did say that.
So,
So actually, no, I
like
just remembered that, yeah.
allegedly and we'll know soon actually, because I think the demo comes out in like a week or two, right?
Oh.
So,
Oh, what?
yeah, the demo comes out in like a week or two. But the battle system, you can either switch between like the real time crazy, Final Fantasy 15 style, or you can do the old school
I actually loved Final
like
Fantasy
turn
15.
based kind of stuff.
I really like Final Fantasy 15 actually. I'm not gonna lie. I like cried. I'm not gonna lie. The story was
You
so
cried?
good.
I didn't play
Yeah,
it.
the
My
ending.
brother said he
What
freaking
game
loved it,
made
though.
you cry?
Yeah.
What game
Oh,
made you
what-
cry?
Like the game that made me cry the most.
Yeah. Probably Last of Us. Probably for me.
That's a good one. Mine is like super stupid because now that I'm replaying it at this moment, it's not making me cry. But Skyward Sword's ending, like, really, it made me cry.
It gets you. It'll get you. Don't worry.
It might
it's
get
coming.
me again.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I've never
honestly,
cried at a video game, but actually, our game of the week this
Really?
week, yeah, there's a point near the end of it that definitely gives me the feels for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, has anyone played? There's a
I
Super
feel
Nintendo.
so
Oh, and
dumb.
shit. What was the
That makes
game?
me
I
cry.
tried a game, Ori and the Blind Forest. I
that
haven't.
one almost made me cry
Dude,
right off
the
the bat.
intro almost makes you
Yes,
cry.
yes.
Yeah. I've never
Wait.
cried at a game, but the intro to Ori and the Blind Forest, I was like, damn, this is so heavy. Like,
Yes. Wait, I forgot. This is an old game for the Super Nintendo. Have you guys ever played The Illusion of Gaia?
oh yeah,
Any-
yeah.
You have played that? That
Yeah.
game actually has one scene in particular that like actually made me cry, and I was like 15 when I played this game, and
Hmm.
I don't know. That's a Super Nintendo game, and I thought that was a big hitting one because like graphically, it shouldn't have made me like feel anything. But,
Yeah.
like it was so driving.
Oh, we got light side Colin now.
light side Colin.
Yeah. We got
Colin's- Oh.
Jedi Colin instead of Sith Colin.
Nice.
Oh, nice. You got Luke's.
I don't know why it's so dark because I have my lights on.
No, you
Oh my
had your
God,
hoodie
guys.
on, dude.
Real quick, speaking
Yeah,
of
but
video
I'm
games and
cold.
Star Wars,
In a
so I went
basement.
to a VR arcade yesterday, guys, like one of
Yeah.
those real big ones. And we
Yeah.
played the
Instead of
Darth
playing
Vader
SS, go ahead.
We played the Darth Vader experience, and you're like his apprentice. It's amazing, guys. VR.
Have you ever, I told you that I have
It
the.
is, but I had like a headache after an hour. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
That's probably normal, right?
No, that's
Yeah,
actually
that's
not a
pretty
good
normal.
sign. I get
Really?
sick from VR because
Well, you have a
of,
brain tumors.
Wait, what?
You need to wake up, Josh. You need to wake up. Take off your headset.
You're still there, Josh.
Just
Come
like
back to
I was-
us, Josh.
It's like
Stop
drooling
it.
on your.
Okay. Anyway, I loved it, but yeah, it's not. I don't. Okay, this is just a sidebar. I don't really see it as becoming the permanent mainstream way of gaming in the future. I just don't see that becoming a thing. I think it's
What?
gonna be. I think it's gonna be a fun pickup.
Not a wireless
hangout.
version.
No,
wireless-
In no
no.
way do I think it can take over home gaming.
I agree.
Because it is a gimmick. It
I
is
agree.
bottom line a gimmick, and you are immersing yourself to which you should not necessarily do that because it like makes your mental state kind of different, and like it changes too many things about gaming. Mental state hurts your head. It's weird.
Have you ever played Superhot? Super.
Super
hot.
wow.
Obsessed. Jesus.
Super
God.
hot.
Every time.
Have you
Every
ever played
time.
Super Hot?
No, I played Star Wars.
Incredible game. That's the greatest game of all
You can
time
play
in
Super
VR.
Hot not in VR
What is it?
too.
What is
just so
it?
you know.
No, it literally feels like you're in the Matrix. Like you're immediately immersed because the graphics are just consistent. They're very minimalistic, but they're consistent. Like, and that's important in VR because that can
I like
trick your
that.
brain into thinking that it's real.
Yeah.
And so you're immediately immersed into it, and instantly you know how to play because you've been doing this your entire life as a kid. Is going in slow motion and like playing your next steps because time only moves when you move. So if you stay completely still, nothing moves around you. But then you can like move around and shoot someone and then just freeze again and then like dodge bullets because they move real
Holy
slow.
shit.
But if you move
Like a
fast,
Matrix
everyone else.
simulator?
Dude, there's a scene where like literally get shot at and you like do like you like bend over backwards and it goes and then an achievement pops up that says the one and you're like,
Dang.
this game knows, it knows what it is. It's so good.
It's like literally a step away from real Matrix.
It's so good. It's so good.
That's pretty awesome. All
And
right,
I've, like,
Colin's a
I've-
huge advocate of VR.
I've literally punched my monitor before because I was just like so immersed. I was like, I'm convinced I'm in the Matrix. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh no. So I've broken all kinds of
That was
things.
$300.
You
Yeah.
have plenty of them. You have like 5 monitors now. You're fine.
I have 3.
3?
I have
Okay,
3
that's
too.
good.
Actually,
How
I
many
have
backups?
4 technically, but
Uh,
the 4th one's sitting in the corner
I have-
over there.
I have
collecting
2
dust.
that I'm using.
Okay, so just on the note of Final Fantasy being delayed, in general with video games, I'm an advocate of delays. Not because I want to ruin everyone's fun, but if they're delaying it, that's because they need to fix something or they need to improve something, right?
Yes.
And I would rather have a delayed product that is complete than the product when promised and it be broken and shitty. So
I just Googled it. The Miyamoto quote that me and Colin love: a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. Shigeru
Exactly.
Miyamoto. Yes.
And so, like, I think that's a philosophy, and that actually kind of, in a way, could play into our topic for later on.
Yes, perfect. Segue.
Yeah, because a lot of game companies these days don't play by that philosophy. So I feel like if they do, it's good. I'm happy about that. Speaking of delays, Cyberpunk 2077 is being delayed until September 17th. Again, I approve. However, this has kind of sparked some controversy because CD Projekt Red, who's the developers, they mentioned that staff would maybe be having a crunch to complete the game by fall, which a lot of people are very against like crunch in the gaming industry. And to me, like, I'm not saying that I think that by any means, I'm not saying that I think game developers should be subject to slave labor. That's not what I'm getting at. But I think crunch has become a keyword that people kind of like signal like their awesomeness by being like, oh yeah, fuck people that have to crunch, you know, like, or make their employees crunch, and they don't really know or care about the actual situation. So you know, from what I understand, the additional hours that CD Projekt Red is going to be putting into this are optional for their employees. The game actually is playable. It's just in a polishing phase. So it's not like, you know, people are going to be sleeping under their desks with guns to their heads working on this game, you know.
They're still getting, you know, taken care of.
Right. So, but yeah, that actually sparked some controversy this week on the old internets. How do you guys feel about that? Like, do you think that, like, crunch in video game in general, or video game development in general?
Everything has a crunch. Everything has like a crunch.
There has to be a deadline.
Yeah, you know? Like you'll always art's never finished. That's like the thing. That's a saying among all artists. No matter what you're doing, video, you know, drawing, it doesn't matter. It's never finished. So like there has to be a point when you go, everything that we're gotta get done in here, you know, the bare minimum needs to be done by this date. There has to be a deadline, and there might be a crunch period. You know, that's just the nature of all artistic expression.
That perfectly segues into like how game creators are like just speeding up production now because they know DLC is an option and they know stuff like that can back up their original strategy.
DLC and like hot fixes, like they've like literally shipped games that are broken. Like I remember, what was it?
Oh yeah,
the Wii U had like a 2-hour update on day one. You basically opened it up, plugged it in, and it was like, thanks, we're gonna update for the next 2 hours.
I remember that when we opened it, and we weren't happy immediately.
Christmas morning wasn't so great.
Yeah. I do love the Wii U though. I kind of regret that I sold mine.
What?
Well, I sold it to get a Switch. It's when the Switch first came out, and I was poor, and I wanted a Switch really bad.
How many Wind Waker HDs are on the Switch?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be available immediately, and then I couldn't get it, and I was like, no, I sold my stuff!
Why is it not on there?
I need to get Twilight Princess HD. I need to get the Metroid Prime trilogy. Like, it's like one of the best port consoles. Yeah. And I say port console because it is literally a port console. Every game that was on the Wii U is now on the Switch, and every game that's on the Wii U before that was basically a port from an old game or something that they were like trying out for the Switch because it was a beta. Does that make sense? So like, I love the Wii U to death because it was like such an experimental console like that.
Yeah.
And, like, it was great. They did, and the don't even get me started on the controller. I think it's one of my favorite controllers Nintendo has ever made.
I agree. I like just about everything about the Wii U.
I love that.
Yeah, it was a bummer that it failed. I still love the Switch, but I wish there was like something in between, right?
I completely agree. Yep.
Yeah.
When I play like a game like Zelda, I'm like, oh, cool, a Sheikah Slate. Surely I'm gonna be able to use the touchscreen and have a bunch of cool features. And it's blank, and I can't do anything with the Switch, which definitely has a touchscreen as your controller. But the Wii U, it had like touchscreen, map. You can move your items, everything. You can pause and save during gameplay, like gyroscopes, everything. It was nuts. I loved it. Yeah.
Switch is the Cubano sandwich of gaming. Not quite, because that would mean that's the king. So. You know.
I will say that the Switch has cultivated a large, you know, proud following just because of it. It's just reestablishing all those old games again into new form.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're the best versions of those games, it's like there's a Zelda, there's a Mario. It's like it is like not necessarily the king, but it has garnered like all the best game franchises at least, I guess, that we wanted.
For sure, man.
Makes me want a Cubano sandwich really bad.
Dude, I always want a Cubano sandwich. So the Series X first-party games, guys, will be playable on Xbox One for the first year. Essentially what that means is there's not going to be any Xbox exclusives for the next-gen console that can't be played on their last-gen console. Does that make any sense?
That's a Wii
No.
U Switch thing.
It's a
That's
Wii U
literally
Switch move.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
literally that. Like, if you had on the so are they saying the next
This-
Xbox is going to make anything that can't also be played on the Xbox One? Is what you're saying?
This is what they're saying.
Okay.
For the
Go
first
ahead.
year of Xbox Series X, which comes out later this year,
Mhm.
any Xbox exclusives will be playable on both your old Xbox One and whatever
Okay.
your new Xbox is.
Oh, nice. I don't have to buy it at all. Sweet.
Exactly.
Why would I buy it?
Why would I buy it? Yeah. Now that's not to say that there won't be exclusives for it made by third parties that are only
Also-
playable on the new thing, but it's a weird move to do that for an
weird.
entire year. Be like, you don't actually
Yeah.
have to buy this console,
Not only
right?
that, but they're like claiming this is our most brand new console. Every time they say that, you expect launch titles, new this, new that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're not even gonna,
Like, give me a
prove
reason to
that
buy
it's
it.
new.
You mean I can
Yeah.
play it on the other one? Like,
You're
I
like, oh,
realize,
sweet, you're-
yeah.
Their game's gonna be
So,
more expensive.
It goes
Everything.
without saying that you're going to have better frame rates and better resolutions and stuff on, their newer hardware. But
I'm just getting used to these frame rates as it is. Come on.
okay,
Give us a break. Let's slow down, guys. I'm just kidding. No, I see what you're saying.
that's
though, yeah.
hilarious.
It seems like it is like a overspeed. Like people are adjusting and then they just go faster and faster to the next step.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are people that will follow that, like you're saying, and then need that frame rate and they need that like everything to be perfect. But those people are fucking crazy and rich. No, I get it,
Oh,
but I
that's
also
hilarious.
for me, it's not something I like really care about in gaming as much. I literally play Ocarina of Time and I'm like, this holds up better than anything. Like, you know what I mean? So I couldn't care less. about
Have
a
you
little
played
bit
the
of frame rate.
3DS version?
I do, and I love it, but I actually prefer the original better.
Really?
Only thing I like better is the gyroscopics.
Oh,
I
okay,
love
yeah,
gyroscopic controls a lot, but they make like ease of like what's the word we always say, Colin? Quality of life. I don't like some quality in life enhancements because then it makes some games too easy, like the Majora's Mask
Yeah.
remake. Also.
I don't know. I like.
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
it looks better. It feels better. Controls better. I like literally everything about. the
It just
remake
wasn't
better.
a full. To me, it was like Ocarina of Time's a 10, and they brought it up to like an 11, but I wanted it at a 20. Like I want it to be like that. I wanted to see the.
So
next
you'd
gen
still
or
rather
not at
play
all.
10 than 11?
Yeah. I want it to be full or nothing. Like, you know what I mean? I have the best
Okay.
version of it on the N64, and if it's
Okay.
not like looking like Twilight Princess in 4K, then I don't even care. Like, you
Except
know
for you have to play it with a controller that looks like a fucking pitchfork.
to. Wait, which? The 3DS, you mean?
No, the Nintendo 64 controller.
Oh, yeah, that's like one of the more uncomfortable controllers.
It's like one of the worst controller designs ever.
To me, it just feels
I
like
hate
empty
it.
plastic. Like I'm holding it, I feel like I can crush it in my hands.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
I've
only
broken
thing.
so many
Oh,
64
I've
controllers.
definitely done that too.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing. Why?
Yeah. For as awesome as that system was, it had the shittiest fucking controllers. Oh man.
GameCube saved it. That was probably a huge reason GameCube has one of the most comfortable controllers. In my
Mhm.
opinion, it just fits so.
Yeah, GameCube controllers are awesome.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I just love how it fits perfectly.
Yeah. Speaking of Nintendo, we got two pretty hot,
I have music for
hot
this.
rumors.
Here's the music.
Give me. I love Nintendo rumors.
Oh well, I got
This is
music
the
playing.
music for
homie.
this. This is the music for this this announcement.
I'm the Nintendo.
Okay,
guy, if
hold
you
on.
notice. I
I'm
don't care
gonna
about other
pause this
consoles.
and I'll play the music.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Josh, I want you to hear it too.
How do I hear it?
It's in the chat.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
I'm at the pitchfork part.
This is annoying. I hate it. All right.
I can only hear our voices.
All right. I stopped the music. It was very
It's perfect for
irritating.
like. Just click on the music in the chat, Josh.
All right. Anyhow. Two rumors coming out of Nintendo. One is Paper Mario, a new Paper Mario.
I'm sorry, what?
potentially coming out.
What?
Oh my god.
Oh man!
That's what the music was for. The music's like perfect, right? That's from Paper Mario.
That's a
Mario Party
That was
too.
from Mario Party.
It's my favorite Mario Party. Yeah.
That's the best one.
There's no good Mario Party.
Mario Party 2.
It's
I
just when
hate
you have
Mario
memories.
Party.
The
I just
memories
said.
of
Mario Party was just like combat
back
with
to
my
that me-
brothers and sisters is what
back
it
to me changing
always
my
was.
pants. Back to me
Okay, yeah, go
having
ahead.
soaked my couch. from
Okay.
July. Repeat it. Give me every detail you have.
Every
about this
detail I have. There's not
Yes.
much. There's literally just a rumor that despite the studio closing that used to make Paper Mario, that a new Paper Mario game is coming out.
stuff. I thought the studio that
Soon.
closed was Mario and Luigi. Intelligent Games is still a company. I thought.
Are they?
Are they? My thought was that it was the ones that made Mario and Luigi had. Maybe you're right, and I'm just like out of the loop.
Maybe you're right. I don't follow it.
Because I did hear that
closely.
Mario and Luigi was the handheld RPG version, and they did get shut down. But
I
they
thought-
had
I thought they
been-
made both.
That's the thing. The most recent one they did was a crossover of Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi, and it was like considered a Paper Mario game. Paper
Okay.
Jam, they called it. And then that one. was
Paper
the-
Mario going back to how it was in 2020.
You can't say that without proof. No, that
There's
can't
not
be
really
real.
much proof. Honestly, it's like it's a rumor from like Twitter. So like take it with a grain of salt. As well as here's another one, a 2D Metroid game that's related to Metroid Fusion. So it's not Prime, it's separate from Prime, which we do have Prime 4 confirmed and coming, later on down the road.
They've
But
got
we
a
also
strong
have
track record.
Yeah, they do have a
For
very
leaking
strong track
information.
record. Yeah, but it's
Holy shit.
also
We're getting
just
Paper
someone
Mario.
tweeting.
If we get-
tweeting.
Okay, so just to clear some.
I'm
air
not
real quick,
crying. You're crying.
Everyone in the audience who doesn't know why this is such a big deal, the last no. This many Paper Mario games have not been Paper Mario games and have been horrible, god awful recreations of our hope and all of our dreams crushed by Nintendo.
They're not even recreations. They're just
Not
Paper
even.
Mario different.
They're
It's
literally.
like, it's like, oh, this is Paper Mario. It's like, this has nothing to do with Paper Mario.
you're like,
It's
do you
like,
remember what the concept was? Oh, they ruined it.
paper is hilarious.
Well,
Make
the
jokes about it.
first Paper Mario game was Mario
Mario
RPG,
RPG.
which isn't Paper Mario at all.
Agreed.
Mario RPG 2 was Paper Mario, and
No.
then it
They
became
reinvent it, but
Paper
yeah.
after that forever.
I will say that Mario RPG set the precedent, but Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door drove it home. They drove that fucking nail into the wall hardcore. And then every time after that, they were never able to replicate that same feel. They weren't able to do anything correctly that they did. It's almost as if Nintendo had completely forgotten how to make the franchise. Like, seriously. Completely forgot what was good about
Very
it.
strange.
Yeah. I'm
so
more
now
excited
the
about the
fans-
Metroid
I
bit,
couldn't
to
be
be
more
honest.
excited about Paper Mario. The Metroid is amazing too because we actually haven't gotten this. So for everyone else that doesn't know, the last like 3 Metroid games that came out were also shit. Other M, we got Force, Metroid Crap Force, which was like
Yeah, it was like
chibi Metroid on the 3DS. Right?
yeah, and it wasn't, and Samus wasn't even in it. It was all just like Space
Federation,
Police assholes.
Galactic
yeah.
Federation or
Yeah,
something. Yeah. But yeah, the one
Yeah.
before that, the other, it's only 2 bad ones. Other M was apparently deemed a tragedy by the series. It was a third-person Metroid game that was all story-based and had almost nothing to do with.
There's
actual-
things about it that it had a ton of potential because it was made by
Yeah.
the Ninja Gaiden team.
yeah, ton
and-
of potential.
Yeah, a ton of potential, and it just like really they dropped the fucking ball with that game.
They dropped it. So this is a
Could have
huge
been really
deal 'cause
cool.
we
And I still
haven't
think
gotten
that formula for a Metroid game would be awesome
I
if
think it
they
would
pulled
still
it off
work.
right.
We need Retro Studios.
Yeah.
That's like bottom line. They're the only ones who know how to make good Metroid games anymore.
Mhm.
They're so because they proved themselves with the original trilogy.
Mhm.
But the last time we got a 2D that was good, holy crap! I mean, they remade Zero Mission, right? Like in 2010. Like
Yeah,
or
well,
way
okay, so
longer, yeah.
are you not counting? Are you not
Which
counting
ones?
the Metroid 2 remake that they came out with
Oh, when was that?
2 years ago? I want to say
What?
on
When did they
3DS.
drop
It's
that?
fucking amazing.
Oh, I didn't even catch that honestly.
Oh,
Still
really?
it's still a remake, but I agree. That's
It's called
amazing.
Samus Returns, and it's on the
Oh, like, I
on the
played the
3DS,
original.
and it's amazing.
I played that on the Game Boy and it was hard.
It's
The
real
game was
hard, yeah.
Hard on the Game
Yeah.
Boy, yeah.
So the remake is fucking amazing. It's
Okay,
if
I
you have a
didn't know that.
3DS, it's worth checking out.
I don't anymore.
Oh, that's a bummer.
What? Really?
I sold it. I traded all of my 3DS stuff in for a PS4 like an idiot.
See,
Were you
this
happy
is
about
what
that
I did
decision?
with my
How do you feel about
thing, and you made
Like
fun
an
of me
idiot.
for the.
No, I just fucking around. I did that, but I feel stupid about it because I was like, I have all the Nintendo consoles at home, and I was like, wait, Pokemon and Mario Kart and 3DS.
Yeah,
And
you should get a
happiness.
3DS and
I saved my SD card. I actually saved it.
I was gonna say get a 3DS and get a R4DS and play Pokemon Black 2 because
That'd be fun.
the game's super dope.
I think the 3DS is a really awesome console. It's
It really
basically
is.
a Switch on the like. On
I
the
still
go,
play
but,
my
like,
3DS
on
a
the go.
lot because
It's
there's
a great console.
well, it's
man.
got fucking the virtual console on it. So beyond
Virtual-
just like
oh,
the
yeah.
awesome catalog of games for the 3DS, which there's awesome games for the 3DS. You also have Nintendo games and Super Nintendo games and Game Boy Advance games. Like, it's awesome. So
it's great.
Yeah.
You can even play Donkey Kong on those. You can't even do that on the Switch or anything. Like, I remember I played Kirby Pinball all the time on my 3DS when I had it. It was like $2 Game Boy game that I love. Yeah, I remember. I wonder if that's why they're refusing to do like some kind of online store for the Switch just yet.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have an eShop. I'm like, you'd only sell games that literally just came out. Like, it's so stupid.
And it's really hard to find like other games that aren't just like on your front page of the eShop. Yeah.
And they're massive, like gig wise. Your Switch isn't that big, really, like to fit, like, you know, some of these games that are just like, I don't do digital downloads because they can be like 10 gigs. I know Breath of the Wild is like 16 gigs.
Well, can't you get, doesn't it support up to a terabyte micro SD card?
External? Oh, maybe micro SD. Oh, maybe.
I think it does.
Sounds way crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, a terabyte micro SD card is super expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Only people getting the new Xbox have one of those.
That's hilarious. The last bit of news that I had, and this I think kind of leads into our topic for the week. Is Stadia is already on the decline. It's seen a 43% decrease since its launch, right?
Is this the thing I was like, what is it? And I already forgot what it is again.
Yes.
I believe so, yeah. I believe that's it.
For the audience, let's refresh them what this is again.
So, this is definitely not for Josh. This is for you, audience. Google Stadia is Google's.
I remember immediately. Yes, okay.
It's their cloud gaming platform. So,
I mean, I knew all along.
He knew this whole time, and we just were explaining it to you, audience members, who didn't know.
It's not looking like it's looking like it's gonna, you know, the balloon's not gonna even take off.
They also lied about a bunch of things. They're like, this is what it's all gonna do, and then did none of that, and it was like, well, it's coming.
Yeah.
How can Google not afford to make a flawless gaming console?
They're not very good at marketing, is what I noticed.
Really? They don't care, dude. They don't care about gaming. Yeah, they only care about the money aspect of it, and they're like, gaming's the biggest media platform there is right now. Why don't we get into it, right?
Yeah,
but they don't really care. Okay.
It's like someone being like, books are popular, but they don't know how to write, and they try and write a book. You know?
Are books popular?
Exactly.
Are books popular? Not anymore.
So the way this leads into our topic for the week is we kind of wanted to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of modern gaming innovation.
Yes.
Okay. And so I would say this is an example of the ugly, right? We
a lot ugly.
We want cloud gaming eventually, but we want it to be good, right?
Yeah. And
this is not. And this also just kind of seems like the fact that Google is basically selling an alpha product, right? Like Stadia is basically an alpha testing phase. Yeah. And the only way to get on board is to pay for it, which sucks. You know?
No one does that for betas. Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, what are some other examples, guys, of let's actually, you know, we gave an example of the bad. What's some good innovation we've seen in gaming over like the last, let's say, 10 years?
I like that things are on the web, that I can download them from my home instead of having to like go to the store and buy them. I like that personally.
Steam is huge. Steam is one of the bigger innovations of this generation.
Cheaper now because of that. You can just digitally buy it, you know, so that way the people that produce the games don't have to pay as much. Also, it's a lower threshold to get into gaming, so more people can actually make games.
Oh wow.
That brings up the counter argument to that would be, do you actually own your games? Right? If you're buying digital.
The also same argument as that is anyone can shit out a game. Literally shit out a game then. If it is that easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, any idiot can make a game. Here's a piece of crap for $20.
Yeah.
Didn't cost me anything, you know, like, so that's why it's even harder to tell what games are good. Sorry, back to positives.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I mostly play digital games these days because for convenience, for streaming, I prefer to own physical copies of my games.
Agreed.
But when I buy games these days, just because rather than like bringing my disc up and downstairs and all over whatever, it's easier for me to have a digital copy that I can play anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So that's convenient. I don't necessarily like it better though, you know.
Yeah. I do got to agree with the points he just made, though. I didn't realize it was that much easier for everyone on all sides. It does make a lot of sense.
It does.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, there's almost like no money that takes. It's just time, really. At this point, you can get like Unity for free. I think. I don't think you even need to buy a license as long as you leave the logo, like the watermark up in the initial like loading screen. You can just utilize it for free and make an entire game. It doesn't look as professional, but like that's the cost. You know, is like a watermark basically, so you can make your own games. And there's like tons of resources to do it, tons of free resources. So like anybody can get into it. Where back then it was like you had to buy or like request a developer console, you know.
Oh yeah, that's
from
true.
Nintendo or whoever, and be like, "Can I have your console to experiment on and try to make a game with your console?" You know, that was the way people did it back then. Yeah. And it depends on if they, you know, and how quickly you can get one. If they trusted you, I don't know. I even know what it would even look like to get that kind of stuff. So,
and then you could be like, "Oh, it doesn't even sell well. We have millions of extra cartridges, and like a ton of waste and work went into this.
Exactly.
All this financial resources. Yeah, digitally, you sell exactly the amount that are requested.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Another interesting innovation that we've seen over the last 10 or so years in gaming is the ability for games to be patched on the fly. Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing. But also, it's also a bad thing. It does get abused. So, like what we were talking about earlier with delaying games, right? Like the philosophy of delaying the game, it's going to be better, or just putting it out, it's going to be a pile of shit. A lot of people don't take that into consideration anymore, because what they can do is they can release a broken game and then just patch it later. And we've seen more and more of this over the years. And I think that, it's cool that it can be done, and it definitely has its benefits, but I think there's far too many creators out there, not even necessarily like individual creators, more like AAA game companies are the ones that take advantage of this the most, is that they, just release a product whenever and then, just pump out patches over the next like couple years before you actually get like a complete product. And I think that's one of the most egregious things to happen to gaming.
Yeah. The only incentive for like quote unquote putting out the good game, like, as soon as possible with all the content, is that the fans don't complain. Like they're like, oh, fans complain a little, they're still gonna fucking pay $30 for a DLC package. They're still, you know what I mean? They don't even care what we say, because we are not proving that we won't do it, because we have to, because we want the complete game. But then it's just completely taking advantage of our trust, and we can't do anything but complain, and they just keep doing it. So
so like the response to that would be vote with your wallet, right? Like, or
what am I gonna not buy Pokemon DLC? Like, what the hell?
Right. Exactly.
That's the thing, though. It's like,
that's a ridiculous notion.
New Smash characters making your game $200 after 2 years. It's like, I don't care. I need it. Like, but it's dumb, because now they know they can pull our heartstrings like that and utilize fan service in ways that basically force us to buy stuff, which is crazy. Like, literally, if they announce a Zelda product, you're gonna buy it. Like, it doesn't even matter if it's crap. Here comes Triforce Heroes.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So I think that obviously things like internet gaming and things like that have been good for gaming as a whole. But something that we saw, I would say, on the early end of like 3D gaming and web-based, like internet online based gaming, was the decline of story-driven games and also the decline of couch co-op, right? Couch co-op almost doesn't exist anymore, right? I think that the Switch has done a good job of kind of bringing some of that back. And there's some good indie games out there that kind of bring that feeling back. But for the most part, like, online gaming has kind of destroyed couch co-op.
Yeah.
As well as like in the early days, we didn't like, everyone was like, oh shit, we can make 3D games. Like, we don't have to really make a quality game. We just need to make it look kind of cool. So gameplay really suffered in the early days of like, 3D gaming.
Psychonauts. Sorry.
Sure.
I know Porges loves that game.
I think to the very end.
I think at this point it's balanced out quite a bit. But it's definitely something to think about. It's kind of like a lesson to be learned about, like, leaning too hard into a technology VR. To
What's happening? We're looking for 2 more hosts, guys. We're looking for 2 hosts.
Oh, that's so funny. No, but I think that anytime like gaming trend goes towards leaning too hard into the technology that's available rather than making a solid standalone game, that's when you have a problem. Yeah.
Good example of that.
Yeah.
Fucking Wii mode.
Dude, yeah.
Oh, I need this. Don't forget your other half.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly
I like
it.
the Wii remote, actually. It's pretty comfortable once you get used to it. Oh, man. It feels so natural.
I know it feels natural when you're like, and like, I don't even know what kind of chair you need for that to be comfortable, if I'm being honest. Because I sit on my couch and I was like, I used to do that, like, but for games that are intensive with that kind of stuff.
The most ridiculous controller was the N64.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people say. Because it was
awful.
like,
You need 3 hands.
Yeah.
My
I just used my dick. You guys didn't do that?
My third finger.
You're the
my
weird
favorite
ones.
is when I hand someone a controller for Mario Kart and they're like, okay, and they like put their hand over both.
Oh yeah,
like,
my mom did that.
What? And I'm like, no, put your hand in.
No, mom.
No,
You're
mom. Have you ever
embarrassing me.
held 2 bananas before?
Jesus Christ.
I had a third.
I just
banana
pictured
just
Colin's
watching.
mom holding 2 bananas. Like, what do I do with these?
I'll delete the picture. I mean.
Oh, Jesus, that's wrong. So another letdown in the chat asked, should standardization of controllers be on this list? Like the fact that all mainstream console controllers have more or less the same buttons, so companies like 8BitDo can make that one that works with multiple platforms. I think I don't know if you're trying to say that standardization of controllers is negative or positive, or you're just like bringing that up. I think it's good, right? Like I think that like this basic configuration for a controller, which pretty much everyone uses, is good. I think it's fine. Everyone's familiar with it, and it works. I think a lot of companies are leaning more into like the scuff, like the pro style controller where you've got your buttons on the back, which I think is also really cool. I actually have like a third party, I don't have it up here. I do have third party like Switch controllers that have those, right? And they're great, right? I think that's a really good thing. And I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to controllers necessarily. Nintendo has tried a couple of times, and I think they've been marginally successful, but ultimately, like, they still always, even with the Wii, even with the Wii U, even with the Switch, they put out a control or a Pro controller that is that standard controller feel, right? That's a good thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's, again, the technological attachment, like you were saying. Like, they have the need to drive their technology into their games, like the Joy-Con, gyroscope, and all that stuff. But then bottom line is gamers just want a controller that is formatted for anything. Mm-hmm. Like you're saying, I can plug my Pro controller into my PC. I can plug my PS4 controller into whatever, like all that, and it all works. I agree it'd be cool to have like one Pro controller for everything, but I think it is kind of neat that, like, maybe just because I'm old school, that like some games have a specific controller, but I guess that's no longer needed. I guess that's more for like games that are already out. So like that's not even a thing really.
Yeah.
If I could use the GameCube controller for everything, I'm good.
Yeah. Real quick before we do our game of the week, we did have one.
Did you watch that trailer I said?
Mm-hmm. What trailer? Who are you talking to? We had one community question, and that was, what's your favorite sandwich? And this was asked in our Discord, which is where we would love it if you guys asked us questions. Yeah. What's you guys' favorite sandwich? Mine is the Cubano. I think that is the best sandwich. It's the god in the holy trinity of sandwiches.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like anything with bacon. I'm like a turkey bacon, like a BLTA with turkey is like amazing to me. Like I'm really not too hard to please. I feel like, yeah, bacon on a sandwich though is like God mode.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. It depends on what mood I'm in. I like spaghetti.
What the fuck is
Spaghetti's a sandwich.
I would love a spaghetti sandwich.
No, spaghetti is a sandwich. You've got the noodles are the bread, and the sauce is obviously a sauce, and the
All
meat's
right,
the meat.
Grandpa.
So it's all like it's just a different form of a sandwich. It's a sandwich.
I know. There was an argument that a hot dog's a sandwich too, and someone was like,
It's totally a sandwich.
someone was like, "Is cereal a soup?"
Cereal's also a sandwich.
What?
What?
Cereal's also a sandwich?
Everything's a sandwich.
Everything's a sandwich.
Everything is a sandwich. I could argue that everything's a sandwich.
The three of us are a sandwich.
Huh?
I'm the meat.
Yeah.
I'm the meat in this sandwich of us three right now.
Yeah, you are.
The Brady Bunch.
That's hilarious.
I love that level in Diddy Kong, Colin.
Look away. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah. We can literally
Tacos
play
are also a sandwich. All right, game of the week this week, guys,
Perfect.
was Bastion.
Yeah.
Let me
I
switch to
totally
the
played
gameplay here.
Oh no.
God, he's lying to us again.
I have actually beaten this game,
He's
so
I
here.
haven't had any
lying
fucking-
to us in the.
I haven't played a single game this
he's
entire
literally at work
year.
right now.
Okay. This game's incredible. This is a game that I
know.
picked. It's a game that I absolutely freaking love. And when you guys talked about like spoilers, no, it's not really spoilers. I won't go into detail. The ending of this game, there's a part that is like so moving that
Yeah.
like it would I've never cried at a video game, but I would say it's one of the games that has probably brought me the closest.
Pretty moving. I
It's
would say,
gorgeous.
yeah.
The music's good. The gameplay's good. The story's good. I can't even really think of anything bad to say about this
Yeah.
game.
Overall, to me, it felt like the story was so driving and different, but to me, the gameplay felt like a top-down, almost God of War style, like how God of War was. but
It's like
in
God
that
of War
story-
meets Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. And even the feel and the characters was like, ooh, like that rough and tumble Zelda feel
Yeah.
mixed with that like God of War combat,
Mhm.
but in a 2D retro acceptable vibe that like it's not trying to be anything it's not. It makes you totally immersed in the world because of this, and nothing feels out of place. It's not that long either. We're making it sound like a crazy long game, but you could beat this game fairly like 10, 20 hours, right? Not long at all.
It's not
right?
that long. It really isn't that long.
So
I'm
it really
skipping
like
ahead here.
packs a lot into sorry, I didn't mean to like it, but it really packs a lot. I agree on all fronts. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, what else can we say,
Amazing game.
Colin? What do you have to say about this game?
Yeah, I like it.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Pretty.
So this game's pretty cool because it actually has a cool story behind it. And what I mean by story behind it, I don't mean like the story in game, which is good, but like the story of the creation of this game. This was like similar to Final Fantasy, right? Like everyone knows the story of Final Fantasy.
Everyone, right, Colin?
It was. I'm not talking to like the story in Final Fantasy. I'm talking about the
I
story of the
understand.
creation of the first Final Fantasy. The reason it's called Final Fantasy is because when they made it, they're like, if this fails, then that's it. That's it for us. We can't
last.
do it.
Yeah.
This is our Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
That like it needs to succeed, right?
That's
and it did.
awesome.
Like that's where we have Final Fantasy. It was a similar story with these guys. It basically was a small crew of people that all left their jobs at big game companies to make this game. And one of the creators even sold his house to help fund the
That's
project.
amazing.
Right?
Wow.
And they just like brought in friends and just did like this small indie thing and made this fucking beautiful game. And
that
like
guy's
the
probably
fact
loving
that they
his
were
life.
able to like do the sound design and the music and the voice acting in this game is like top
Yeah.
freaking notch. It is
Yeah.
absolutely top notch. So like the fact that they were able to pull that off with like such a small studio is
pretty
is
impressive,
absolutely
yeah.
incredible.
That's
yeah,
cool.
game snuck up on a lot of people for sure, I would say.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did it do
dude.
pretty well then? Did the guy like
Yeah, it's done
his
nice.
money?
Immensely, yeah.
Yeah, it's done really well. It didn't have it had like an acceptable launch at first, right? But then it kind of caught fire and like it originally launched on the Xbox 360, I believe. And like I said, it did fine. It did enough for them to like, survive, but it wasn't like spectacular. But then it kind of gained momentum over time, and all
Like
of a sudden,
cult
like
following
Mhm.
almost.
Yeah, exactly. And then they
Yeah.
were able to port it to mobile, which is where I played it first. And to PC and to pretty much every console. Like the version that I played this week was on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
You know?
I didn't even know it was on Switch.
Yeah, it's $3 on Switch right now. Yeah, I posted that in the
$15.
Discord last week.
Nice.
So if anyone's still interested in picking this up, which again I would highly recommend it, it's $3 on Nintendo Switch. So, but yeah, it's just like a really badass freaking game that kind of took everyone by surprise, and like I highly recommend it. I don't know what else to say about it. It's got like such a unique feel to it, and
I really don't want to spoil any story aspects, but like the biggest part is like the character doesn't really know anything, right? It's like all a new experience for him as well, right? So that's what makes it all feel so different to me.
right.
Like your character is familiar with the world and familiar with everything. Your character is like no idea what the fuck is going on, and you're like, aren't you just like waking up from some shit or something? I'm having issues.
Yeah, you definitely
like
just
all,
wake
like,
up, and there's a guy
Everything is, like, a
there
dream world,
in the Bastion, just like being like, "Hey man, this is what's
World's
going on,"
over.
and you're just like, "Okay," and he's like, "Hey, go do this. You gotta go save this shit." He's the narrator, and he's cool as shit. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain. Just play the game.
Yeah.
Just play it. It's so good.
It's absolutely worth it. I
God
would
damn
say.
it, it's so
Especially if it's
good.
$3. Yeah.
Yeah, $3 on Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it's still on sale, but if it is, get it on the Nintendo Switch for $3. It's like so worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But that about wraps that up. Colin, it's your turn to pick the game of the week for next week.
Ooh, he loves playing games.
I know. It's
Pick
your
a game
turn,
I'm
buddy.
playing.
Pick a game. Pick
What game I'm playing?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Wait, no, okay, that wouldn't work out. It's like Skyward Sword would be awesome, but
We could do Skyward, so why not?
no,
We haven't done a
it's
Zelda
It's
game
too
yet.
hard for.
I can't do Skyward
All the-
Sword.
Yeah.
Really? You don't have faith in it?
No, I don't have anything that
No,
can play it.
He'd have to buy a Wii and like all the peripherals.
So
and
worth
shit.
it.
I would love to play it. I just don't have anything that can play it.
This is another issue for me about the like innovation type thing. Just real quick, like how like some games just can't be remade yet because of how they were so stuck in their technological ways at the time.
Yeah.
Like if we get a Skyward Sword remake soon, I'll be surprised and be like, how?
They could
Like,
remake it on the Switch.
I'm thinking, but a lot of it's like controlled, like you use the fucking thing to like control.
But you could
each
still do that
movement
on the
system.
Switch. You could do that with the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I guess that's
The
true.
fucking-
If it forced you to use individual Joy-Cons, I guess that would be. It doesn't. I agree that Joy-Cons don't feel as good as this, though. But like, I think the Joy-Con is maybe like the worst controller ever made, actually. as
Yeah,
far as
I'm with you.
feel-
I think
feel is concerned.
Really?
I like the idea of
As far
them,
as feel is
and I
concerned.
think they can be convenient at times,
useful,
but
yeah.
like
I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
Like this is a hard controller for me to use, and when I split them up, I feel like I'm like really crunching my hands.
I especially hate
yeah.
this, like using
I
it as a
hate
second
that.
controller.
Whenever I'm like, let's play Smash, my buddy takes the Joy-Cons off. We have 4 people. He's like, here you go. Here's half a controller. I'm like, dude, I can't even use the R button. Like, what is this? Like,
Trash.
Like one thing, like
Yeah.
this
I
was,
think it's awesome.
this was a thing with this thing here. We used to play Mario games like this, and no one cared because it's at least long enough for a big hand. But now it's literally 2 inches long. Yeah, I agree in every way that it is awesome and concept is awesome, but I think execution and like there's no size options really.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little bit poopy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, Colin, if you want to think about it and just post it in the Discord tomorrow, you can.
I was thinking Nancy Drew, Ghost Dogs, and Moon Lake.
stop. What did she just tell you to say?
No,
No,
we're
just
not
kidding.
doing that.
Like no,
We're
no,
not.
Ghost dogs in the moon.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Okay,
All right,
yeah,
we'll
just
just figure
post
it
it in
out
the
first.
Discord tomorrow.
No, he's gonna
Sure.
forget. Maybe we should just make one up real quick.
No. I remember. Just remind me.
I'll remind him.
Just
promise.
remind me. I swear.
I'm gonna send him like consistent private messages
Perfect.
Yeah.
until he
Yes.
does.
Nice.
Just think of a goddamn game of the week, Colin.
I will.
Anyway,
Wait, did you use your new intro? Or
I did.
no?
Yeah, I did use the new intro.
I need sound effects for you, don't I?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be
Like
cool.
rain and like thunder.
Do we have someone we can raid tonight?
Oh, Josh, are you going
Give
live?
me like 2 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Why
Why are you doing that?
I'm entertaining the masses until we go raid him.
Oh, okay.
Da-da-da. If we were like, we're gonna do this, we're like, I do this, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it comes over to your hand, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing Skyward Sword over at Lord Yeshua's if you guys wanna.
That's hilarious.
It's
Okay.
hanging on right now.
we should like practice that.
We'll do that.
I'm happy with how
Josh,
that
are you
turned out. This looks really good.
help me get this
Yes,
posted
let's
to
do that. I'll
YouTube
hit
before
the
you do
start
that?
screen in the
All right.
meantime, yeah.
Just head over to Lord Yeshua. Actually,
Uh-oh.
can I do this?
Wait, Colin,
What?
I'm having a weird glitch.
What's your
My
glitch?
camera's not appearing.
Yeah, we have this last week.
Oh, because
dude.
we're here. Yeah.
You have to leave the call, deactivate, reactivate.
I don't
This
have
guy.
shout outs set up, so whoops.
Wait, so I can't even do OBS yet? Oh,
You can do everything else.
You can't do your
Just boot it up.
camera.
Yeah,
You'll
your
have to-
camera can be deactivated and reactivated though.
Yeah.
Once you go live for good.
Okay, I'm gonna end this show, guys.
Oh, go raid.
Okay,
Are you
we'll
live?
raid.
Just go live, Josh.
Are you
Go
live yet?
I'm going live. Now I am, yes.
This is the most difficult.
That's the name of the stream. Hi, yeah.
That's so funny. Okay. All right, we're raiding Lord Yeshua. I'm
Never heard of
Paul.
him.
Ryugami-san is my channel. You're here watching this podcast if you're watching us live on Twitch. We're now on YouTube, by the way. So check us out there. And then at Ryugami-sama on Twitter.
Woohoo.
Say your stuff,
yeah.
guys.
Lord Yeshua, if you stay and hang
I
out,
don't
you'll find out
stream
who I
anymore.
really am. Don't say that. It breaks my heart. Show the Tanuki tail at least. Real
That's
quick.
funny.
Okay.
Yeah, show him
Yeah.
the Tanuki tail.
Okay. Yay! Look at this. He made
There
it.
it
Is it solved?
Colin,
It
tell
was-
us who you are, and I'm going to end the
I made
show.
a movie with it actually. There's a movie with
What?
it.
Oh
I
my
need it.
god.
I'll show it to you later.
So difficult.
I'll make you watch it.
All right, we're
Yes.
rating in 3, 2, 1.
Peace.
Boom.
It's not a very good video though.